Hi there, this is Robert Schein with CW3.
And I'm Bronwyn Ison, also with the CW3. How you doing, Rob?
Good, how you doing?
I am doing well, doing really, really well, keeping it all together.
Are you hanging in there?
I'm definitely hanging in there,
Is
doing,
your family healthy and safe?
yes, we are healthy and safe. And how about you?
Good. Yeah, we're going stir crazy, a bunch of teenagers. It's amazing the amount of food that actually we consume, but it's happening.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, I'm used to cooking, but not 3 meals a day and snacks in between. So, but we're also getting some really good exercise in. And I think that your kids are doing the homeschooling
Yep,
or distance learning as well as my girls are. Feel very fortunate that we're right on track with everything. And so we have a busy household.
that's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we're just continuing with our community. Our thoughts and prayers with everyone out there, especially for the medical professionals that are on the front lines. And if you know somebody or you have somebody in the family that's either affected by this or that's in the medical profession, our hearts and thoughts and prayers are with them, especially as we go through this time together. And as our commitment to you guys for this community, and we've got some free time, we wanted to basically continue our Wealth and Wellness Wednesdays. And why don't we just get right into it, Bronwyn? In the world of wellness and health, and as we just discussed with all the food that's out there in our households, how do we stay focused? How do we stay on a game plan? And ultimately, how do we stay healthy through this process of quarantine?
Really good question, Rob. And I think also that because I think it's almost because we are home, it might be easier to even schedule. So just like in your daily life, we set a schedule for ourselves. I think it's really important to implement some sort of structure into the home. So even if you are living by yourself, which some people do, having some sort of structure. So maybe it is that you're getting up a little bit earlier, or maybe you're deciding to sleep in, and then just having some sort of a plan during the day, because then the day won't seem like it drags on forever. But I think too, when you have children in the home, like both you and I do, you have to stay on task. Eating properly, drinking lots of water, making sure that you're definitely getting outside or some sort of exercise regimen. I've never seen so many people enjoying the great outdoors as I've seen in the last few weeks. It's so refreshing to see. And, unfortunately, it took something like this maybe to get some people out there and actually moving. So it looks like you guys have implemented some good plans into your home. I've been seeing you in the kitchen on social media.
Yeah, my son and I, we made the appetizer the other night, and we recorded it for everyone at home, and named ourselves the Quarantini Boys, and we filmed our first episode, so it was a hit.
Yeah, it was really cute. You guys did a
Thanks.
great job. But one thing that we were even discussing before we got on the call was, how can we help other people just besides giving them wellness suggestions and wealth suggestions and or advice or tips. Right now, I'm going through a lot of my old stuff in the garage or in my closet, and I know that there may be a lot of people in need of clothing items or blankets or things that aren't necessary anymore, that they don't need in their home. But then we were talking about, well, where do we donate this? And that's a really good question. So I think it's calling around and seeing who might be accepting donations so that we can help others in need that might need some extra items during this time.
Yeah, we're doing the same spring cleaning as you guys. I think most of us are, and really going through it's actually refreshing too. So it's like, finding what we can live with, what we don't need, and ultimately who we can help with that. And we went the other day to go drop something off, and I didn't even think about it, but they're not even accepting donations in the local place that we tried. So I think right now, Bronwyn, all of us is just to, keep the stuff in the garage, maybe call around. If somebody knows in the community, please let us know who's accepting donations. That's good to know. So especially in the Coachella Valley, we'll take care of each other here.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of switching gears a little bit, Rob, as a small business owner, what is new for small business owners?
Yeah, so a couple weeks back, as we talked about, the stimulus package was the CARES Act, as we know, was signed into law. $2 trillion worth of stimulus, of which 350 billion was set aside for small business owners. Just this Monday and last Friday, they went live. The small business SBA.gov it went live. If you want to go there to look at, if you're a small business owner, you put in some applications, and you put your application in, and then you work with a small business lender that is essentially one of the banks that's here locally. If you're a small business owner, you have the first step I would recommend, number one, is work with the existing bank that you have. So if you have a business checking account, more than likely they already have your information on file, and that's a help. It's sort of the fast track because they know who you are. I think Bank of America was processing at least 10% of all applications out there in the SBA loan assistance program. And then Steve Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary, realized that this is, a successful program in terms of applications. He just went back and is going to ask Congress later this week for another 250 billion for small business aid. So that's real-time information that I think is very helpful. I think there is a key element here of execution risk, meaning making certain that your documentation is properly, the application is filled out properly, the documentation is provided in a timely manner and uploaded. I know I had to do mine through a couple of the portals here, and you upload your tax returns and a few other things, and it's literally a loan process. They're going to have a loan, somebody from the local bank representative review that and then fast track that for you. So it is a process. Be patient. But it's something that you do not want to wait on. Prioritize that, make some time, and that's to be the first and foremost thing you do as a business owner, because you need that money, and that if you have employees, you need that money in hand to maintain those key employees that are important, because we know we're going to get through this, number one, Bronwyn. And number two, the question is what we look at like on the other side. And if you've got some wonderful employees like we all do, you want to hold on to them, because last thing you want to do is have to let them go, and then 2 months later, 3 months later, you're going to be scrambling to reopen everything and get those employees back. So these programs are important, and just take the time to do them.
Yeah, that's really, really helpful advice. You may or may not know the answer to this, and it's something that I was actually curious about. I've had a brick and mortar for 7 years, and I launched my programs, online classes, online a little over 2 years ago. So I was fortunate to kind of already have all that stuff in place. I'm wondering, because so many people, pretty much everybody is working from home, people are going more on the digital realm. Do you know if any of these small business loans will be helping people if they decide to segue and just go completely online? Will there be small business loans for people who decide to just go completely online?
Yeah, so I think April 10th is the second round of applications for sole proprietors and individuals. Think like an Uber driver who is an independent contractor, not employing anyone per se, but definitely is impacted by COVID-19. So keep a lookout. Again, you can go to sba.gov and start looking at the PPP, Paycheck Protection Program that's out there, and a few other small business assistance. So essentially what the federal government has done is saying, listen, this has hit us out of nowhere, but it's not anyone's fault. It's not like the banking crisis or a few other things that we've been through, the tech bubble in the early 2000s. This is one of those things where ultimately really it's the act of God, and the government's here to help. And so it's got a clunky process. Nothing's perfect. So again, have patience, but I think the key point there is that there is assistance out there. So just work hard to find it and be patient as you do, but it's well worth it because it is there for everybody.
That's really, really helpful and great advice. Well, good. This is so insightful, and as we know, it changes sometimes hour by hour and day by day. And thanks, Rob, for all your insights. Really helpful.
And I think for you, Bronwyn, I think earlier comment that you brought up, as there's exercise online and exercise in the home, one of the key things that I found to be very helpful, and I think you have this with your group, Bronwyn, with Evolve Yoga, is the sense of community. So as an example, when we're at home, if we're home alone, or if we're home with even family members, if we know that there's a date, time, and place, but yet other members are joining. You know, whether we can't ultimately walk into your studio today like we did yesterday because of social distancing, but knowing the fact that, you know, I'm still connected to that person, and if they're going to show up on the other side, well, I'm going to show up, and that might help me a little bit keep on my health goals and keep me motivated and connected. So I think that strong sense of community that everyone gets in your world that you're providing is a huge benefit.
Thank you. Yeah, it's community and it's accountability. And I
Yeah.
think everybody really looks forward to seeing one another. And, you know, I've got people from Virginia and Utah and people who have either gone home or maybe they moved out of the area. So now they're like, oh my gosh, this is so great. You're online. So there's so many different resources for whatever modality that people want to participate in. But yes, it's linking the community, like the community of the CW3 here, just staying engaged with everyone, and we're here to help.
I think it's here to stay too, because necessity is the #1 skill. By that I mean, I think 30 days ago, no one really knew how to even use these Zoom, you know, camera features, and didn't know that we even had them built in. But you know, here we are doing a broadcast and on Zoom, and now I know how to do it, and now we can. Now we know going forward that there is a new, basically, channel of doing business, which is, I think, a net benefit to the community and to the economy going forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's always fun to see you, Rob, and thank you so much for all of your help and insight. It's we need it right now, so thank you.
You as well, Bronwyn, and let's just keep breathing and one step at a time. But you know, just remember, I think ultimately, as we see the news, just think we are one day closer to the end than we are when we first started. That's what I keep telling my kids on the kitchen table. I'm like, listen, we've been through a lot of this already, so give ourselves credit and ultimately look at put it in perspective and take a deep breath. And every day we're getting closer to you know, ultimately being outside again and seeing each other again. So keep your head up.
Will do. Have a great day.
You too.
Oh, and by the way, if you have any questions, be sure to let us know through social media, and you can always visit the CW3 website, and we welcome your feedback, and we welcome any questions that you might have for the future.
Good point. And we also have some great, exciting news to share later to come. So please share, like, subscribe, all that other fun stuff on social media world, because for our viewers, we're going to have some pretty exciting news coming up. So thanks for listening.